waking up to your sound again, and lapse into the ways of misery.
Hey, we're Opeth, and I'm Michael, vocals and guitars.
I'm Peter, guitars.
I'm Martin, bass.
And you're logged on to guitar.com.
You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, as I'm getting older, I like these stuff. You know, kind of old man's rock. And the riff, it's kind of evil sounding riff, but it has the same kind of idea. You know, and screaming vocals over that. It's no big deal, it's a cool riff to play.
You guys want to play it all together?
Yeah. Okay. And 4, 3, 3. Okay, and that goes into the next riff, which is like the easiest riff ever done.
This is sort of build up for the most aggressive and strange part of the song, actually. So
Yes.
we're trying to build up tension now.
It's very easy. And 4, 3, 3. That's basically just disharmony, just chaos.
It's a basic rep through. But octaves again.
We basically just wanted some evil sound, you know. And that goes into the most complicated riff on this album, which is, it's not complicated really to play, but if you lose track of what you're doing, you will lose track of the rhythm, which really isn't there anyway, you know what I mean?
There's sort of two rhythms, because Martin is doing one thing and we're doing another thing. Which
Yeah.
in the basics really...
It came out that way because I did a drum machine, and I just took it, you know, for this, in the right beat I just pushed every drum there was. And it came out really, really strange, and I was like, you know, when I showed it to Martin, I was like, yeah, we're going to change this. And he's like, no, this is really cool. So we learned it. But it took a long time to nail it in the studio.
Yeah.
The riff goes like this. It's simple, but as I said, if you're on stage and you can't hear anything, if we got a bad monitor on stage, we always have safety precautions. So Martin is doing just before the next riff, so if we lose track, we can just go back. And that goes into one of my favorite riffs of the heavy riffs on the album. go from that hysterical part to. The Russian riff, because it's like a Cossack dance beat to it. It's pretty cool. Then we go into that riff that I thought was coming to return, which is again very, very simple. It goes something like this. And 4, 3, 3. Very simple, and the screaming vocals over it, you know, everybody can headbang. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, that our music is, you could say a lot of death, like extreme diehard death metal people, they think our music is a bit too soft, but I think some of the riffs have a really old school touch, like this one. The drum beat on this riff is pretty interesting because it starts like you know, and it goes into a very, it's almost like a backbeat. It kind of goes round the riff, which created a cool, I think, vibe on this riff. Even though it's so simple, we try to do something with the drums and the vocals, you know, to make it almost like, you know, groovy. And the next riff, yeah, it's acoustic break. Vi spelar det sista. I play the last. And 4, 3, 3. Simple chords. That's the same thing. The chords are so simple, you know, and these chords have probably been used like 30 million times before, so I just concentrated on a good vocal line. And I got Stephen Wilson from Porcupine Tree who produced the vocals to sing backing vocals in this riff as well, so it came out pretty cool. But we wanted to alter it, you know, with this simple, kind of cheesy singer-songwriter with something that was totally different and extreme, so it goes. Back to the first riff, and this note actually hangs into this. This note comes out, you know, it kind of fades it up, you know. So at first it's like a very disharmonic note compared to that riff, but then when the first riff comes on, it just like opens up, you know. So it was a cool effect, and then it just fades out. And the song's over. How long's the song?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Now let's go to that last riff that you played. How do you guys go about coming up with a riff like that? Because that riff sounds totally open. There's nobody else that sounds any other.
It's once again because of We use it all the time. The chord, the octave chord, and then the disharmonic stuff. You know, I think there's not many bad. You know, a lot of people say that sounds like shit, and it does. Just if you play it like this, you know. But in that riff, it creates an extreme feel. You know, so you know, we're all sick and tired of predictable music. You know, and just we want to do something different. And I think a lot of people, a lot of bands, when they want to do something different, they bring in another singer or keyboard player, and you know. But we think you can still explore the guitar a lot more. That's why we bought like the Evo, and that's why we use, you know, chords like that all the time, because it's not many bands have done it before. So like Voivod from Canada, they were one of those pioneers in disharmonic metal.
Oh, let's just do a quick jam, you know, just a couple of minutes, and then we'll
We
head
never
back.
jam.
You never jam?
Our songs doesn't allow us to jam.
Right,
No.
no. Do you have any riffs you've been working on that you don't have in any songs yet? Things you've been just kind of playing around with, or?
Not really, because we
The
never
only
rehearse.
thing that comes close to a jam that we do live is a song Credence from the My Arms Your Hers album, and it's not really a jam. It's just that, you know, the last riff. And I'll play like. That used to, on the record, it fades down, but live, Martin Lopez, the drummer, you know, we start playing it, you know, like a beat, and it's almost like a jam, you know. It could easily be like, you know, like we're doing solos over that, but we never done it so far.
Lack of time.
We're
on
too
stage.
cowards. Yeah, but that's the closest thing we come to.
We sort of
jam.
jammed on the My Arms Your Hers, the outro song too.
Yeah,
That was a jam actually. We
it's
put
just
two
what, like, I
different-
can't remember the riffs now.
Something like that, and that was
Yeah.
almost like a jam because we recorded like 3 or 4 minutes and then, you know, freaked out with solos and everything, putting.
We're all
organs
fans of
and
that,
stuff. Yeah.
you know, but we kind of jam in it because so far, you know, on the last 2 albums especially, all we had when we went into the studio was the kind of the basic structures of the songs. So you could say we jam in the studio in a way that we basically record the first thing that we come up with, if you know what I mean. It's basically the best thing, but we wouldn't know because in the studio you're so like, you know, you don't know if it sounds good until afterwards. So you kind of rely on yourself that, okay, this has to be good, you know. But in a live situation or like now, it's you know, it's no fun to like blues and stuff, you know. That can be done occasionally. We get like a major headline tour or something.
The Opeth Stadium tour.
Yes.
Exactly. 2 hours.
Next year.
Then we'll do it.
Rotating stage.
Exactly. People in the mosh pit in the
Yes.
middle. Blues jam all the time.
Yeah.